Hello YouTube, Joe here. Today we will talk featherboards. Now, as you can see, I have quite a few of them here, and you might wonder why does he have so many? Well, they're pretty much custom made for every job. You can see that the real long ones, those are for stuff I'm doing on the table saw because you can't get a clamp hold, if you will, until the outside edge of the table. So that's what those are for. The shorter ones here are ones that are used on a router application, and these are used for holding down. And I use these on the back of the fence. Then you'll see that some are oak and some are softwood, regular old pine, if you will. Now that's all about the load that you want induced onto the piece you're running through. If you're running through some big pieces and they're heavy duty, you're going to need the same from your feather clamp. You're going to need fingers, if you will, that are a little wider than normal. And you're going to definitely need something out of hardwood if it's heavy and if it's big. And the opposite is simply true when you're using stuff that's lightweight and small. You don't want a huge load. You don't want it so that it takes, a wrecker to push it through the saw. That becomes dangerous at that point. So you got to, kind of use common sense as you make these. But step one in making a featherboard is get the piece you would like to make or turn into a featherboard, and you're going to make a cut on it that's going to be equal to what you're looking for here. All right, if you need a 45 on it, great, put that on first. That's the very first thing you have to do is get it to size. Then next, it's over to the bandsaw and just do some really quick dicing and you're good to go. But first kind of tell yourself what you need before you start. If you have a small project, you're going to have to make fine cuts in between these, very fine cuts, or there's going to be too much load from the fingerboard. So that's why you see some of these that have such intricately close spacing, is I didn't need that much load. So you just have to weigh that. Once you have that figured out, it's over to the bandsaw, and I will show you how to make these quickly. Let's have a look at that next. Now, before you start, it's a good idea to get yourself a line on there that you can see fairly well. That's going to be key to where you're going to stop. If your cuts are all over the place, these will be ununiform in tension. These you can see that they're fairly uniform. But this was a hack job too. The faster you go, the less uniformity you're going to have in between these. So it does actually pay to do a fairly good job. So you're going to want to start by just running your fence in little by little by little. Keep moving it over. That's all there is to it until you're done. And hopefully you won't end up doing what I did here with this monster finger. Because obviously the tension on that one is far higher than these. And you want that uniformity. Okay? The other little game I guess I could mention is making sure that these never come in contact or even get close to whatever is moving, whether it's a blade here or a radial blade or whatever it is. As you push these things through, these are going to flex forward. And let's say your blade is right here, and it's not touching now, but when you put your parts in here and it hits that loose ear, what happens then? This is what happens. And I'll tell you, you will wake up really quick when that happens because the saw did something nice for me. I don't remember how this one happened, but it was not a good thing. And that has to do with paying attention to where your cutters are and where this is going to end up. All right? So it's just something to watch. Now let's have a look at one other item on the table saw that you want to watch out for. Okay, now here's a typical scenario. If you only have a board that's narrow and you're just going to kiss off a little bit of the board, you're okay to play this game here. You're not going to cut off a portion of the board that's going to fall away. You're only just taking a little bit off the board. This is cool. But if you play this game back here and you're kissing off just a little bit, that's okay too. But when it comes time to actually removing a sliver of material, don't ever do this. Because what will happen is, as that other piece of material comes off, it's going to hit this. And it's going to force it into the blade. And that's going to make sure that you're going to wear whatever you're pushing through. So if you have a sliver that's going to fall away as waste, never have a feather board in back of the saw. Bad idea. Just make sure that you play the game properly, and these things are ultra safe and really, really nice to use. But again, using them on the backside, bad idea if there's waste to fall away. Other than that, I think you guys have learned what you need. Let me know what you think. Take care.